In the late 1800s, a war you probably didn't hear about prevailed over West Virginia. This one was between coal miners and the coal companies who employed them. For decades, working in the West Virginia coal fields meant low wages, shoddy tools, and extremely unsafe conditions. Unionizing was out of the question due to strict contracts that called for immediate termination and eviction for those who lived in company towns of any employees found to be union members. In 1920, the United Mine Workers Union succumbed to local pressure to organize in the area. Starting with Mingo County, thousands of county miners joined, and inevitably, the miners were fired. Those who lived in company-owned homes were greeted by private detectives hired by the coal company to enforce eviction. At one point that May, a dozen of these detectives entered the town of Matewan for this purpose. They first attempted to bribe the mayor to place machine guns on the roofs of town buildings, which the mayor obviously refused. The detectives then set about their duty, but instead of peacefully evicting the families, forced them out of their homes at gunpoint. Hearing reports of this behavior, the town police chief, Sid Hatfield, confronted the group and declared that they were under arrest. A gunfight ultimately ensued, and 10 men were killed, including the mayor. This Matewan massacre bolstered the pro-union cause throughout the county. Over the next several months, those for and against unionization engaged in what was essentially guerrilla warfare, culminating at times in shootouts, ambushes, and assassinations. The war reached its peak on August 1st, 1921, when Sid Hatfield, of Matewan Massacre fame, was killed while walking into a courthouse. Local miners were outraged, and thousands of pro-union activists resolved to march on the coal companies of Mingo County. Receiving word that the miners would pass through his town, an anti-union sheriff gathered an army of 3,000 state police. Together, they set up trenches around the nearby Blair Mountain. On August 28th, 10,000 Union men approached the ambush, and the largest armed insurrection in the United States since the Civil War ensued. It was not until September 4th, when federal troops arrived on the orders of President Warren G. Harding, that the battle finally came to an end. More than 20 Union men were charged with treason and hundreds were indicted for murder, though nearly all were acquitted in the end. Workers' rights to organize would not be legally recognized until the next decade with Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal legislation.